Hello, everybody, and welcome to November's community call. Today, we have a lot of great guests today. But before we jump into it, say hello in the comments. Let us know how you're all doing. Tell us where you're coming from and joining us. It will be really, really awesome. But today, we are so excited because we're going to have Jim with us, Bogey with us, Mikhail with us, and Hannah with us, talk about all this awesome stuff. And I am really, really excited. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff, but we're going to chat with Jim, one of our co-founders. We're going to talk about all the new cool things with Mikhail about Strapi Cloud. Boogie is going to tell us some cool secrets about building plugins, which is in our community showcase. And then I'll mention some stuff, which is going to be awesome. And I see a lot of awesome folks already in the chat blowing it up. That is really, really awesome and fantastic. So we're going to start with Hannah. She is going to tell us a little bit more about writing your first blog post for Write for the Community. So Hannah, take it away.
Thank you, Paul, and hi, everyone. So some of you may I have already met, but so I'm Anna Khalifa. I joined Strapi a few months ago now, and I am the content and community lead. Before I joined Strapi, one of my main missions included to help engineers write blog posts. And when I arrived at Strapi, one of my first missions was to revamp the Write for the Community program. And since we communicated about the revamp of the program, I got a few questions from the Strapi community mentioning that, you know, some of you want to write and share their knowledge, but they don't know how to write, either for their personal blog or to participate to the program. So I thought today I'll take a few minutes and share a few best practices on how to write your first blog posts with maybe a template to kickstart you. It will be quite general, but if you need more like one-on-one time, I'm also on Discord. I'm totally down to do like office hour on how to write your first technical blog post if you want. So yeah, I think that's, you know, as developers, I think that each and one of us has a unique experience, a unique set of skills. And I think it's only by sharing our expertise through content creation that we not only like showcase ourselves, but we enrich an entire community. So that's why I'm so driven by, you know, helping also others write about their experience. I think that every single piece of content that is being created contribute to a collective type of knowledge, I would say. Whether it's like a simple tutorial, a complex problem that you solved, a perspective on a new tech, if you have a thoughts on the next Gen 14, for instance, you know, each of those thought size has quite immense value for a bigger community. So I know it can be tough when it's the first time that you want to write. You know, we all have like a blank page syndrome. It's hard to pick a topic because when you know a lot, you feel like you don't know anything most of the time. When you care about making things of quality, you are even more afraid to publish things in the wild and make mistakes and you know, maybe not being expert enough. So there's always value in every single experience. And I will share a little template that I think helped a lot of engineers that I've helped through the last years on writing. And the first tip and the first step to me will be to pick a topic, but a very sharp one. Because when we start, you know, when it's our first idea, there's always this desire to be exclusive, you know, to have like I will write about headless CMS. And then you try to, you know, find a way to talk about it and you realize that it's a very, very immense topic and large topic and a complicated one. And so you would discover that it's actually 100 different subtopics. And so my first advice will be to be sharp about that, you know, to start small, you know, step by step, to pick a niche topic, a little project, a little bug that you solve, a little, you know, your last experience building a side project, and focus on that one. And then once you know what you want to write, and once you know, challenge it with some friends to build the bones before writing anything else. You know, trying to find a structure, you know, trying to envision and structure your article. It's kind of a way to, you know, pick a strategy. You know, you define your architecture, but for your copy. And then at that point, you know, when you feel like you are okay with the flow, the storyline of your article, you can start to add the muscle of your article. You know, you build the bones. Now you add the muscle, at the end you will be able to run, but you still need some stages. So you add the muscle and you brain dump. You put every single pieces of information, you put them on the different section you've drafted before. And you need to not care about how it will look, you know, you should not care at this point about trying to write the perfect sentence, you know, how it will read. It's never perfect from the first draft. Just dump your information. It will be ugly, but it will be like the concrete type of information you want to put. But mostly it will help you not block yourself and avoid, you know, spending hours looking at a Google Doc, which I've done, and I know that every single person, when we write our first blog post, we spend more time doing nothing than actually writing, because we block ourselves trying to find the perfect way to say things. So at this point, you should not care. Once you've done everything, you know, you think you want, once you've edited out, you know, some of those things also, you can start to, you know, add the skin. I don't know how far I can go with this body analogy, but you can polish your article. You can transform those brain dumped information into sentences that make sense, make your content appealing, you know, trying to find those little anecdotes that make sense to the overall story, trying to add colors. If it's an article that is highly technical and practical, you know, you can still add your personal journey, how you felt also, you know, spending dozens of hours trying to Google your way out of a problem. And then once you have like that kind of first drafts, ask for feedback. It's the toughest part, to share your first drafts of your first article. You know, you feel kind of vulnerable, especially if you share a bit of personal feedback on it. But that's the key to having like a great copy, because, you know, sometimes we spend lines and words to say something that could have been said in one sentence. And sometimes we are so stuck in our heads that, you know, we put so many information in one sentence, and we, you know, forget to add that missing piece of the puzzle, because we are the expert, we have our point of view, but we didn't have the oversight perspective. And so, you know, only reviews can help spot those kind of, you know, things to improve. So especially once you're deep down into an article, you miss so many things. So feedback, iteration, sharing with friends, with colleagues, with people who've worked on maybe the project you're writing about, or even some people who really have no clue what you're talking about. It can be super interesting. And after you hit publish, you know, don't be shy about reaching out for promotion, especially if you wrote about Strapi. Please reach out to me. I would absolutely love to either publish it on Strapi's blog or read it, of course. But yes, so that's quite general. I think every single people has a different way to see how to write that first blog post. So I'm available on Discord, and I know that some community members love to share about, you know, how they use Strapi, what they build with it, and feel kind of stuck. So I'm here for that. I'm Anna on Strapi's Discord, and I've already started the work of working with some community members to share their experience, and I think it's a part of that. It's one of the things I love the most doing. So feel free to reach out if you need anything. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Hannah, so much. Yeah, and Derek just posted the link to our Discord. Speaking of Discord, speaking of the things that we have going on, we obviously have these community calls that we're going to do. We also want to highlight more partners or anybody who has built something cool with Strapi. And if you want to share with us, you could always reach out to me as well. We would love to do a stream with you. And of course, open office hours Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. CST time. Every Monday through Friday on Discord, unless we are on a holiday. But definitely join us there. It's always fun. A lot of great conversation, a lot of great questions. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the people behind Strapi. And I'm so excited to have Jim here with us. And he's going to talk about a lot of cool stuff today. But first, let me introduce Jim, one of our co-founders. And Jim, how are you today? How's your day going today?
Thanks, Paul. I'm doing really, really great. And you?
Very, very good. So what I wanted to do is really talk about some cool things. Maybe some people would like to hear the story behind Strapi. So let's start talking about the Strapi origin and how it came to be and where we are.
Yeah, so we can go back 10 years ago now, because that's when we started working on Strapi. And that's when I met Pierre and Aurélien, so my two co-founders. And yeah, if we want to go back on the initial story, so when we joined HETIC, so a school in Paris, we worked on a side project. The objective was to kind of rebuild WordPress, but with Node.js, because 10 years ago it was kind of a fancy new technology where you can do live time stuff with Socket.io, for example. And so, yeah, that's how it started. So a group of people at school trying to rebuild for fun WordPress. So learning new stuff in parallel of our school, enjoying also the open source and ecosystem, because we started building Strapi completely in the open, sharing it for everyone. And yeah, just if it can be interested for someone else, just feel free to share feedback, contribute, etc. Like really side project at school. And yeah, at the same time, we needed to eat during our school time, trying to grab some money here and there. So we started freelancing and using what will become Strapi later for our own projects. So we were kind of dog fooding our own product while developing that. The objective was really to build APIs really quickly. We were working on Angular, like the first version, like 8 years ago at this time, something like that. So yeah, developing really quickly APIs with front-end apps, and yeah, just earn money really quickly. And yeah, that's almost about it. We did some meetups just to share and get feedback, because of course, when you develop something, getting feedback from people is really, really important. And Anna just mentioned feedback on when you write an article, getting feedback from your peers is really important. That's the same when you develop a product. So that's what we've done. The Paris ecosystem in Node.js is really active, or at least 8 years ago, and still today. So yeah, presenting, getting feedback, evolving, and we improved the product like that. That's how it started.
That's awesome. That must have been really wild in the early days, just like all of you just like sitting in the room working, trying to figure things out. And the company is obviously a way bigger today. And so can you talk about the company formation and the growth that we're going through?
Yeah, because that's right. At this time, we were like student side project. And at the end of the 3 years that we've done together, so developed Strapi during 3 years, at the end, we got our degree. So that's usually what you're gonna have while studying. You're gonna have your degree, and then I would say, usual path is to find a job when you learned development. Like Pierre, Aurélien, and I were mainly specialized in development. And yeah, at this time, you choose to find a job as a software engineer or a developer in an agency or any company that you like. But on our side, we had this project we worked on during 3 years. We were looking at Strapi, like GitHub stars, and it was growing really fast. A lot of usage, a lot of feedback. The community was growing a lot. And we were like, okay, we need to do something right now, because that's also when you want to start a company. It's when you end your school or when you are at school. That's the best moment to do it, because there is no risk. So that's what we've done. We just created a company at this moment when we finished school, just because we want to continue working on Strapi and to see where it can go. And here we are right now. Something we can say also is about what went after we created the company. Strapi is completely, at this moment, Strapi is completely free, open source. And I mentioned just before, we have to eat every day. So to continue to earn money, so we've continued to do freelance. We tried to got some feedback and a network around us developing a company in Paris. So we joined an incubator at the early days. It helped us also to have an office. But our objective was really to continue be 100% focused on the project. And that's where we needed to move from half freelance, half Strapi to full Strapi. So that's when we hired our first employee. So Soupet, Cyril. I don't know if you're gonna watch that, but at the beginning we hired him for work on freelance projects in order for us to focus on Strapi. So it was like kind of that kind of things. And after we decided, okay, the way to be able to focus 100% on the project is to do a fundraising. And at this time we had, I think it was 8 months of cash in the bank account. And it was like, okay, let's go all in on finding or doing a fundraising. And that's what we've done. We worked really, really hard. And here a big shout out to Pierre that led this first fundraising. And yeah, we successfully did it. And here you are right now.
That's amazing. You know, like looking at Strapi where we are today, and kind of you sometimes forget the origin story and the work that goes into like planting the seed, nurturing the seed, and growing it. So thank you. Like that's like really cool and really awesome. And I think a lot of people, you know, see the final end product where we are today and not realizing it started with this idea. It started with you, Pierre, Aurelien, and you working together, and just, you know, sweat, blood, and tears probably all throughout the time, and giving it your all. And it's amazing that we're able to have this conversation now on a Strapi community call. So with that being said, can you talk a little bit about like Strapi today, and, you know, where we are?
Yeah, so of course, from what that one first fundraising, we hired people in the team, we developed the product, growth in terms of usage, and repeat new fundraisings, etc. Right now we are our Series B. We have now a team of 80 plus people. That's completely crazy where we are right now. That's really, really cool. We started also selling, because at some point Strapi was free, and to be sustainable, we have to sell something and to do revenue, and it should not be a taboo in the end. So in 2020, we started selling Strapi, role-based access control, which is now free, in fact. So we had to iterate with the pricing, and we've released our first pricing element for free. So yeah, now we have the enterprise edition with SSO. More information on the pricing page if you're interested by this feature. But mainly from since this year, we have Strapi Cloud, which is really exciting. And the growth for Strapi Cloud is just really incredible. So really, really happy with that. Best way to just deploy your Strapi application in a few minutes, just in one click. So really, really easy. And yeah, first open source headless CMS, really proud of that. And of course, you've mentioned people that are behind the scene, but you, Paul, and Anna, and the community which is here, Michael, so that's going to be in the call, but especially the team behind that we do not see, because yeah, we have the chance to be more on the public aspect of the thing here. But yeah, big up to all the team which is behind.
Yeah, shout out to the team, of course. Talking about Strapi, I was going to share, because I know it's such an amazing product, and a lot of people, say, Paul, that's because you work there, because you're a fanboy. And I just wanted to share, because the mission is to empower millions of people to share, manage content everywhere, make it easily. And so the way I fell in love with Strapi, just to share a little bit of my story, is that when I was learning how to develop, I wanted to build full stack applications, but as a front-end developer, I just did not know how to do that. And so I started, using my favorite framework, which was React at the time, and still is, but now it's like Next.js and Remix and all that other stuff. But it allowed me to build cool applications. And I actually ended up getting a job as a front-end developer for this company that was building financial products, and the whole backend was done, and Astro now, of course, is done with like Python developers. And they wanted to try a new product idea, but the owner of the company, he could not take away any of the backend engineers to build something new. He just couldn't do it. So I said, hey, let's try this experiment. I'll build an MVC with React, and I use Strapi as like to power the backend. Let's kind of like, tell me your idea. He told me his idea. We made it. He showed the MVC to them, and they're like, oh, this is really awesome. And we actually went all in. He hired more JavaScript developers, which was kind of cool, because instead of having to ask his backend Python developers to do anything, he was able to hire a bunch of front-end engineers that were able to take the project from 0 to 1, and we were actually able to release it, get users on it. And to me, it was like really cool to see someone in my situation, who was at the time not like a level of developer that I am now, to be able to take an idea and bring it to reality, to a point where we started getting users and the company was able to start selling it. And I think that is the amazing part about Strapi, is that it empowers everybody to do those things.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we created the product. It's like, go live really quickly and don't reinvent the wheel. Like, click and play, make it really easy to use. So yeah, good description of a good usage of Strapi here.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. And Jim, like, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it was like really, really awesome. And I hope everybody here, throw some likes, throw us thumbs up. I see a lot of love coming up right there. Nice, really, really awesome. So next, we're going to talk to Mikhail about Strapi Cloud. And if you never heard of Strapi Cloud, I mean, seriously, it's the best way to deploy Strapi. And so Mikhail is one of our engineering managers. And so we're going to have him on. Tell us about what's new in Strapi, what's happening. And Mikhail, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So can you talk about Strapi Cloud with us?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Strapi Cloud is progressing from early this year, going full live, to now us pushing out as many new fancy features as we possibly can. And the things we actually released most recently are the ones we're going to talk about, is the login. So from the get-go, we had login through GitHub, because that's how we had to push the code. And we got the request from more people that, you know, not everyone needed access through the GitHub or didn't want to use the GitHub for the login. So we expanded now to also have the full access through Google. And we're already looking into new opportunities on how to have even more login options, so nobody feels restricted to their setup or their preference of login.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And is there in the future to add additional ways to log in, or where are we with that right now?
So we're not really sure. I mean, another obvious one is, of course, something like GitLab.
Yep.
And depending on what people have of their own infrastructure, there's definitely more opportunities out there. I mean, there's at least 60 you can do, and we're definitely not going to do that, but we're going to go with the usual suspects, I would say. And
yeah,
it really comes down to what people are requesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so another news feature I thought was really awesome is Strapi templates, which I thought was, if you have no idea how to get started and you don't even have a project, I think this is it. Can you talk a little bit about this?
For sure. No, it came to our mind, like, we saw people that maybe haven't had as much experience with Strapi as others, and for that reason, it only seemed logical to give people like a helping hand to get started, to kind of see what is Strapi Cloud, what is Strapi, how can you utilize it, what kind of opportunities does it open up for, and to kind of just put those two together, we created this template. We created the first one, which is the blog one, and we are looking into other use cases where we can just kind of, again, show people the best use cases of it, and of course you can use that if you want to, and then change this as you see fit, but also get off the ground. And again, just like with login, we're always looking for, more opportunities. Like I said, usual suspects. Blog is probably the one that is most people think of when they start out using or testing
Yeah.
Strapi. So this is the one that I think is really good, just to show the powers of both Strapi and Strapi Cloud.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, I think it's cool. It would be amazing to have different plugins. You could have a corporate starter plugin. You could have LMS type of plugin or whatever. I mean, plugin, theme, template. I think it'll be really cool. I'm like excited to see like where this is going to go next. And next feature that we added, which is super important because we want to keep our data safe, is backups. Can you tell us more about where we are right now and what are the plans for the future?
Sure. So backup was one that was basically been requested since we went live with Strapi Cloud. And we spent a lot of time to figure out how to do it. Because first off, backup means a lot of different things for many different people, depending on what kind of sphere in the tech world they work in. We figured out how best to work it with Strapi Cloud. So now you have the full opportunity out of the box to get your data backed up, and that's basically it. It's as easy as it sounds. And regarding like the future improvements that we're looking into is everything like rendition, so like how many copies do you keep, as well as how often do we take the backup. So if you're working with something that has a very a high change in your content and do fear any kind of change might mess with your systems, well, then we will give you the opportunity to have like more fine-grained backup.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was going to say, I just shared the playlist and I'll share the video directly talking about the backup, how you could use it. And I also wanted to mention that we also have our DTS, data transfer export import. You could use that as well to do manual backups of your data also, and something that I've been using. And if you want to see a detailed walkthrough, the last video, or actually, yeah, that I just posted right here, go check it out. It's really awesome. I've been using that in all my projects. Makes it really convenient, especially when seeding data. But with that being said, let's talk about what's next. I know you already mentioned Git providers like GitLab, but what else do we have going on?
Yeah, so the GitLab that we are looking into is also for the Git providers. It's the second biggest one out there, so it's the natural next step for us to provide access to GitLab for the Strapi Cloud. We also don't see any reasons why you can't hypothetically work for both of them. So why limit anyone here? Then the SSO, we also both see and hear from different people, both through corporate but also individuals, that they want to streamline their login process, and what better way of doing that than with SSO? So that's also in the works and coming sooner rather than later. And for some of our bigger corporate clients out there, there is definitely a certain need for some sort of SLA, and we are getting to the point where we actually know exactly how to live up to that 4.9 to make sure that everyone's cloud is as good as possible, up and running at any given time. And again, that's also very, very close to the finish line.
Yeah, no, that is super awesome. It's amazing to me. Like when I started at Strapi, V4 was just released, and we just keep moving forward, and seeing the idea of Strapi Cloud being born and then being actualized and then watching it grow is phenomenal and amazing. I just want to give everybody at Strapi a huge shout out, and everybody in the community. I know we have a very awesome community, also vocal community, and we appreciate everybody's feedback. And one thing that I was going to say, like being internally in the company, is that one thing that I could say for sure, everybody at our company works hard. That's one thing like I've noticed, and that nobody is just sitting there so a lot of times when I see feedback, I just want to be like, my gosh, if you saw how hard the Strapi team works to bring you the product that you all love, you would you would be like amazed. And I just wanted to say, hey, amazing job, everybody at the team. And of course, the community that helps us, gives us feedback. Even sometimes some feedback is tough to deal, but it's valid feedback that allows us to make the changes that we need to move forward. It's a really, really awesome. So thank you, especially our community and everybody working at Strapi. And oh my gosh, I'm talking too fast. And thinking about community, I want to say, Mikhail, thank you so much. Always a pleasure chatting with you and having you giving us the cloud updates. Speaking about community, I want to introduce you to Bogi, community superhero, plugin developer. If you're ever on Discord, you probably talk to him at least 100 times. Like, at least he's always there. He's always answering questions. He's answering my questions all the time as well, and very, very helpful. So, Bogi, great to have you here. Can you introduce yourself, like, really quickly? Just someone I don't know, never met you, and kind of like how you got involved.
But everybody already met me, so
I know, exactly. Yeah. Everybody has met you. So this is funny. I'm like, I should answer this question. I'm like, oh, Bogi already answered. Let me check the form. Let me answer this. Oh, Bogi already answered this question. But yeah, Bogi is amazing. I put community superhero because that's how I think of you. So can you tell us about what you're gonna talk about today, or first of all, how
I am going to talk about my Populate plugin. Well, I talked about a few community calls back and talked about it when I was developing it still.
Yes.
And now it's basically fully made and fully done.
Yes. And just quickly before, like, why do you think people should make plugins in the first place?
Because what Strapi can do is sometimes limited, because they need to think about the big picture. So as soon as you need to think smaller picture, and you want to be able to be used by more than one person, so you just go for plugins.
Yeah.
It's the easy solution.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
People.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that's the coolest part about, like, Strapi is that it's so customizable, and one way to do this, especially if you want to share with other people, is building plugins. So tell us a little bit more about your plugins and what problem it solves.
Let me go and move this one to the side and share my screen. Share screen. So basically, right? I have my content. Oh, I lost Strapi sometimes.
Demo effect.
I have like two content types, right? I have my school class and I have my users, right?
Yes.
Let's say I want to search on my user and go to the API. It gives me all the information about the user, even though I maybe only want to give the usernames, for example, and not all the information.
Yes.
So my plugin can do two things basically, right? You have in the config, you have two different configurations. You have the normal configuration, was this one.
Yeah.
And the auto-populate configuration. Auto-populate will auto-populate stuff for you. They will show you in a second. So let's say I want to protect, let's say I want to ensure that people can't populate the emails, right?
Yes.
I go to the protect populate, add a new route. I select the /user route. Select the user's content type. Now I can select if I want to enable roles or not. If I enable this, I can select permissions per role. So for example, right, I want only show the username for public people, right? And I press save. Now in my API, will only show me the usernames.
That is amazing, because I know that this is something you would have to do programmatically before, but now that you have your plugin, it makes it like very straightforward and easy to do. And I just want to say, like, this is what I love about, like, again, reiterate this about plugins is, especially like Bogi, you're really good at finding good use cases for which to build plugins to solve like a really cool thing. And this is a really good example of it.
And another example would like be, right, I can go to school classes, click on here. And let's say I want to give the name of the school class, right? Normally I have to do populate star for this, right? To populate more information, and press save. And because I've auto-populate enabled in my plugin, if I refresh, it will automatically give me the school name for both people.
Yeah, no, that is so awesome.
But really, I can also, for example, say like I only want I want to populate nothing, right? I want to populate equals star. That should give you the same thing, right?
Yes.
But if I say, let me let me, for example, add some more fields.
Let
me add email.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can also just add fields equals field one equals, let's say, email. Now I hope it is right. Nope, I didn't do it right. So I can basically also filter on the field itself.
Yeah.
I only figured how to do it manually.
Yeah, no. Writing the query strings manually, it's ridiculous.
Found it out.
Quick tip for everybody. Quick tip for everybody. If you go to Strapi Docs, we have a query string builder. Easiest way to solve this issue.
Correct.
But I was kind of surprised that you're gonna manually type it, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't think I
fixed it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I can formulate manually.
Yep.
But if I, for example, disable now the email here, right? And I try to populate the email manually, it won't allow me to. Or it just stopped working.
Demo effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I know you were having some, you were like this, you're still making some updates to that. So yeah, totally understandable. But one thing that I want to say, like, I think this is really cool. If anybody wants to check it out, even contribute, you could find the plugin. I know Derek shared the link to it in the comments. But more importantly, what I wanted to do is also ask you, because I know we have a lot of technical viewers as well, is if you want to share one thing that you kind of learned building this plugin in code.
The one thing I learned is a very nice trick. If you are in the register page of a plugin.
Just 1 second. Is it possible to make your screen a little bit bigger or like increase the font a little bit?
Yep.
If possible. Nice.
Is better?
Oh, that's perfect.
So in here, right, I can inject inject my own custom middleware programmatically.
Nice.
So I'm basically injecting this middleware programmatically into all the browsers that need it.
That is really cool. And you're doing this on register inside the plugin, right? Yeah, nice. Awesome. Yeah, no, this is really, really cool. Very, very awesome. Any tips for anybody starting out building plugins and maybe it's their first time and they feel a little bit intimidated? Like, what tips would you give them? Except join us Monday through Friday, 12:30 CST, open office hours. Besides that tip, like, what your tip?
That was going to say the first thing I was going to say. The next tip is, if you don't know the answer, just ask the question. Because if you ask the question, we can answer it and help you further along if you get stuck.
Yes. Yes.
And like some people have made plugins for a very long time, just know some workarounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes like perfect sense. Definitely join us, the community, ask questions. And I just want to say, like, our community is driven by you, the community. So like sometimes if you might not get the answer right away, just understand it's other people like you. They're trying to help on their free time. But that is why we have the open office hours Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. CST time, is that you just show up, we're there, you can ask us questions. So there's always opportunity for you to ask questions live. So anything else that you want to add before we move on, Bogi?
I don't think so.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the community and showing us and sharing your plugin. And I'll say, for everyone, go check out the plugin. It is pretty awesome. But next, we're going to talk about Tech Corner. Just want to share some of the cool things that I was going to do it today. So we just recently released this blog post about Next.js 14. I think Next.js 14 is pretty awesome. Like some of the things that you're able to do with it, server components is pretty cool. And so they have this amazing tutorial, right? You could go to nextjs.org, click learn next, and they walk you through all the basics of everything like you need to know in terms of like data fetching, route handlers, and all this other great. And I was like, it'd be cool if this tutorial, this application was powered by Strapi. So I redid that whole tutorial and I was like, how would you implement it with Strapi? And I created this demo project. And I just want to say, you're able to, I'll share in the link here, you're able to pull it. If you have any suggestions, if I made any mistakes, definitely let us know. I am still learning Next.js 14. But one thing that I realized and heard from the community, a lot of people want to also see, like, how do you implement Strapi in a production level app, or how do you go from start to finish? Before I get to that, I also want to share, we do have this amazing Strapi corporate starter template if you want to get started with Next.js 14. It's 13, but I updated it to 14, so I have to update it here. That's my fault. But it is now using Next.js 14. I'll share this as well. I'm really happy for this project. It was a team effort. We had quite a few contributors that helped us out. Huge shout out to all of you on this project. You're still able to contribute, but I'm also excited because it's racking up stars. People are using it. I've talked to a bunch of people in our open office hours. They're like, hey, we're using your template. I was like, wow, that's so cool. But also to kind of continue on our mission to help you to better use Strapi. We want to create better tutorials. And after releasing the Next.js video that I did, there's so many questions about how do you do this? How do you do that? So I started this personal project. It started a project because I was sick and tired. I don't know if I'm sick and tired, but there's a website called meetups.com, and I don't know if it's the way it used to be, you know? And so I was like, let me make my own version of an events website where people could add and manage events. And what I decided is, like, I'm actually going to take this to production. I'm going to deploy it locally for Austin events. I live in Austin, Texas, for tech communities. It's going to be hosted on Strapi Cloud. The front end is going to be Next.js on Vercel. If you want to, like, contribute to my learning, you could check it out here. But I'm going to start creating tutorials around this project. This is actually what I have so far. You could see the events. It's, you know, you could log in and you could log out. So the idea here is to incorporate full CRUD functionality, how Strapi Auth works, how to, I might actually use, Bogey's plugin here to prevent people from accessing data that they can't, because it just makes it so much easier. I just love the ecosystem that Strapi allows you to come together, build something really, really quickly, and hit the ground running. Like, you're able to go 0 to 1. This project, we've been working for it 3 weeks. And when I say we have some contributors, 3, you know. It's a good start. It's a good start. If you like to contribute, you can as well. But I'm going to start releasing videos on how to build this to give people kind of a full implementation of how Strapi would work. And of course, I'm not a 10x developer. If I make mistakes, feel free to correct me. I will fix and learn from them. But I also want to shout out to our contributors, 3 contributors. You know, to Anton, ZTX Stone, we have Silas here, we have me. And the reason why I want to showcase is that sometimes people are, want to contribute, and there's so many different ways to contribute. You could contribute to write for the community. You could contribute to help our documentation. If you know more, you could help us identifying bugs in Strapi and contribute like the fixes. There's so many ways to contribute, but you could contribute in the smallest part you feel comfortable. And I wanted to show this example because instead of kind of doing something where, like, I am directly contributing to the code, I was like, let me build a demo project on my personal time for fun that I could include other people and to share it. That's another form of contributing. And so I want to tell and show you that just building something cool with Strapi and sharing what you learn from it is really, really awesome. So I wanted to share those projects, those ideas, to kind of show you there's no big or small way to contribute. You're part of the community. Anything that you do is awesome. And I just want to say, before we get to a quick Q&A, a huge thank you to everybody who was on the call, you in the community, everybody that joined the chat, anybody who's part of the community. Keep it going. And we are always in open office hours. So if you really have a burning question or want to talk or complain, we're still there. We're there for you. Whatever you need, we will do it together. And especially thank Jim, Bogey, Hannah, Mikkel. And let's do just a few, let's see, like, any Q&A. Let's do a quick Q&A, like 5-minute Q&A. See if anybody has any burning questions. Just don't ask the meaning of life. I don't have that answer. Besides 42, of course, Derek knows. Everybody knows. I thought I was the only one that knew the meaning for life 42. How'd you know? This is ridiculous. Anyway, I see a lot of good stuff. If you have questions, let us know. If not, you could always meet us it's only because I'm 42 years old. I mean, maybe meaning for life is 43 then, because I'm 43. I'm not saying it's a competition, but yeah. So no questions. This is, don't be shy. And if you are shy, we have our Discord. You always could join us on Discord. Maybe someone could throw the link to Discord one more time.
You have a few questions, Paul. There's, for instance, Jose.
Yeah, go ahead. Call them out.
It keeps scrolling, so I can't read. Is there any ongoing project or a planned feature for the future which allows to handle different instances of Strapi, separate database within one panel admin?
So this is a common question. It comes around like multi-tenancy, and I think like Derek could speak a little bit more on this. Like what a lot of times we hear when people ask about that, they're not really talking about true multi-tenancy. And the closest thing that we have that I would say is if you want to have one place where you could manage a bunch of projects together with separate database, Strapi Cloud does that. Like I have my Strapi Cloud account that has multiple projects. So I always make this joke, but if I were to somehow no longer, like if something happens and I can't talk about Strapi, what I would do, I would freelance and I would literally build projects with Strapi using Next.js 14, for instance. And I would use Strapi Cloud exactly for that reason. Number one, because it allows you to manage all your projects in one place. And the second thing is, one benefit, like I talked to a lot of different people and a lot of people ask me like, Paul, like, what do you like using Strapi Cloud a lot? And so I'm not a DevOps person. I don't even want to think about setting up my own VPS or doing anything like that, because number one, I will mess it up. Number two, it's time that I have to spend. And if someone who's like building projects for like business owners solving their business needs, I want to actually attend to their needs rather than to my own needs. So if I could use Strapi Cloud to deploy my project and not worry about deployment, like just pay whatever it is. And I think it's like a headache-free experience. And talking to a lot of users, when I talk to DevOps people, they want to get down and dirty, do that stuff all themselves. And when I talk to business owners that just want to release the product, they're like, what solution do you have for me that just simplify this process where I don't have to, this is going to sound bad, I'm sorry, because I'm also an engineer, but like where I could have a smaller team and not have to hire extra backend engineers to be able to manage my product. If that's you, like Strapi Cloud is the right place for you. And hopefully that helped to answer with a question. But if you want more detailed question about multi-tenancy and why we don't quite have that yet, join us open office hours, because Derek is able to speak more about it than I can, because my understanding of it is not as cool as his. And Derek is awesome. Number one, also community /Strapier/awesome. Anyway, any other questions that anybody sees? Like, yeah, if you see any question, definitely yell it out. But
how about the Strapi story that I mentioned before? I could have talked about Derek. There are also a lot of things to say about him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my. Listen. Yeah. I think our team is like it's amazing. Like everything we do, like especially seeing like the inner workings. And one thing that I was going to say, it's like, being a startup and growing a product, finding the balance of like growing and making things better. Like I have no idea how Pierre, Aurelien, Eugene, and everybody on the team is able to manage it, because from the outside in, it might look like, oh, just do this, just do that. But being inside, you see the hard work and everything that entails. So very, very proud of the team and everybody here. And of course, the community. So I don't, let's see, the question was because the business always, the question was because the businesses always forget password. Yeah, I mean, it's so easy for you from Strapi Cloud to go into the admin panel, reset their password manually, or if you do have the, like, this is another cool thing about Strapi Cloud. You automatically get an email provider. So by default, you should be able to, the users that forgot their password, they could just use the reset password link and they'll be able to reset their password that way. Another cool feature that I actually like about Strapi Cloud. I know I'm talking a lot about Strapi Cloud, but this one is a really awesome one. Did you know that you could share projects? Like there's a share button, you click it and you send the link to somebody else, and now someone could log into your Strapi admin cloud and help and work together. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm too excited, but I should be more excited about everybody that's here. Thank you all. I don't see too many questions. coming out. So with that being said, join us for open office hours, Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. CST. A huge thank you to everybody here in the community that was here and who wasn't here watching this later, to Jim, Hannah, Mikhail, and Bogi for stopping by. Everybody in the chat, and oh my God, there's like too many people to mention. Like everybody in the chat, Derek, Pierre, like, oh my God, some of these names, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce. Pierre, Abdelkader, sorry. So many people. I just want to say thank you so much. And with that being said, I will see you in the next stream. Thank you. And everybody have a great
Thanks a lot, Paul.
evening. Yep. Thank you all. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.